It's Thursday the 19th of September and I'm here at Jazz FM Studios to record this week's Market Insights podcast with Jonny Hart from the Business Breakfast. This week we discussed the Federal Reserve, the US economy, oil in the aftermath of the attacks on the Saudi oil fields and Brexit. Please enjoy the podcast and don't forget to like and subscribe and leave any feedback in the comments box below.
There was talk of repercussions following the strike on those Saudi oil fields. We're not even sure what the strike was from, whether it was from drones or missiles. You're getting different bits of information at the moment. But it would seem that things actually weren't quite as bad as was suggested at first, and hence the price of oil has actually dropped over the last few days.
Yes, so on Monday morning, the oil rose, Brent crude rose by around 20%. The initial
biggest ever rise for many, many years, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was. This is, as it turns out, the biggest supply disruption on record. So there's around 5.7 million barrels a day which were affected by this. This is around half of Saudi output, just over half of Saudi output. It represents around just over 5% of global daily output. So it is a significant amount of oil which was knocked offline as a result of these attacks. And oil naturally rose because they feared the worst. When you fear the worst, you get these big knee-jerk reactions. We did start to see it pull off not long after the open. It fell from around 20% up to around 13% up at the end of the day. So we'd already started to see that pair those gains. And now it's around 5% up from Friday. And the reason for that is because not only is it not as bad as feared, but also Saudi Arabia quickly got half of these back online, pretty much by the end of the following day, and they said the other half would be back online by the end of this month, which was much better than what people were fearing. The reason why we're still therefore trading more than 5% up from Friday's closing levels is quite simple. It's the risk factor, the risk of retaliation, the risk of a full-blown conflict, the risk to these facilities, because there's clearly a vulnerability at these facilities when 10 drones or 10 whatever can infiltrate these facilities and knock 5.7 million barrels of oil offline that easily. And I'm not saying it's easy for anyone to do, but it's clearly been easy enough for someone to do, and obviously the finger of blame has been pointed at Iran. So this vulnerability brings with it a risk factor, and that risk premium is now being factored into oil markets.
The strange thing about the proroguing of Parliament, because so supposing they did go back and Parliament reopened again, what difference would it make? It'd just be more talk, wouldn't it?
Exactly, and we're entering party season soon, like these party meetings. So are parliamentarians even going to be back in Parliament? Are they going to take extraordinary measures to get back? And if so, what are they going to do? What are they actually going to achieve by going back? They've passed a bill to tie his hands and to force him to request no deal, or at least they think they have. So what else is there to be achieved by returning to Parliament at this point?
I've heard enough, to be honest.
Exactly. I think we all have, to be honest. I think we now just want to see something change, and I'm not sure that's going to happen in our Parliament at this moment in time until another deal has come Parliament's way. Like I say, I think there's plenty more surprises to come. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more talking points, just that this week hasn't really provided it. I'm not sure the Supreme Court ruling is going to do any more than that, and next week may even be pretty quiet on this front also, but let's face it, famous last words.